Cat Power Sports Edition, where we talk about anything sports related in the world. I'm Garrett Wiley. Joining me, as always, is Nicholas Pola. Um, Nicholas, I'd like to start out with just going over the continued woes of the Sam Houston sports world, specifically football and volleyball. Um, Football, another crushing defeat against Jacksonville State, where it seemed like we were up the entire game. What are your thoughts on that? I mean,
Yeah, definitely. We were up 21-7 at one point in the game, a two possession lead, and gave it away. A lot of that had to do with penalties. Some of them we caused that. A lot of it, our defense just allowing Jacksonville State to march down the field multiple occasions towards the latter end of the game. But they keep coming close. They keep coming close. They were up 21-28 with or no, they were up 28-20 actually with like less than a minute left in the Jacksonville State game. They came close against Liberty this past week, who they played on Thursday. Lost 21-16. They were at like 2 or 3 yard line with multiple opportunities to score in the final seconds of that game. So they're right there. They're right there. If they keep at it, keep doing what they're doing, a win will come. A note on that: we're 0-5, right? We played 5 games this year. The first 5 teams that we've played this year have 5 total losses so far. BYU has 1. Jacksonville State has 1. Houston has 3, and Air Force and Liberty, they're still undefeated. So we've been playing good quality teams in good conferences. We played multiple teams in the Big 12. We played a team in the Mountain West. We played probably the 2 top teams in Conference USA this year, and taking away the Houston game, they've only lost by an average of 9 points a game. So they're in these games. They're right there. They just need to get over that hump, and once they get over that hump, finally win a game, I think the dam will break loose, and you'll see a lot more wins going forward.
yeah. Would you say that the switch to Conference USA has maybe gotten in our heads a little bit? Maybe the football team thinks that we did pretty well in the WAC. Now that the change to Conference USA, do you think that we expected to be a little better, or?
This is a very young team. A lot of players transferred out whenever they heard that we were going to have 2 seasons where they weren't going to be able to compete for anything. So a lot of the veteran players transferred out. So this is a very young team. The Bearcats have stacked their best 2 recruiting classes ever in their football program history right on top of each other. And so I think moving to Conference USA, it's going to have its growing pains while the talent develops here, because the talent is there. Just it has to develop first, and that takes time. So that's going to take another year or 2 to be able to develop that talent. And I mean,
I think people need to be reminded this is our first year in Conference USA. New play style, new teams to play against. I think that either this year is going to be bad, that we can expect, but next year and the years to come, we can expect a little better performance from our team.
Definitely, especially if Coach Keeler keeps on doing what he's been doing on the recruiting trail, stacked recruiting classes on top of each other. If that keeps happening, we'll be competing for a conference title in the next 5 years. It's just that transition. It's gonna take time to transition, but the Bearcats have what it takes. They're gonna be competitive in years to come.
I would agree. And we play New Mexico State next. Do you have any score predictions for that?
New Mexico State, probably one of the better teams in the Conference USA. I wouldn't call them a contender for the conference title, probably. They had some bad losses this year. They lost to UMass their first game of the season, but if they have a very potent offense. If the defense can limit their offensive production, I feel like the Bearcats would get the victory.
Yeah, I'm glad we have a good odds. Really quickly, I want to bring it over to Sam Houston State's woes against the volleyball team. And actually, I don't have a lot of time left. I do want to mention that Hannah Baker broke the dig record in volleyball. This has been Bearcat Power Sports Edition. We'll see you next time. What's going on, Bearcats? Welcome back to Bearcat Power Sports Edition with me, Garrett Wiley. Always joining me is Nicholas Pola, where we talk about anything sports related in the world. I'd like to go back to Sam Houston State volleyball as they snapped a 8-game losing streak. They did against Middle Tennessee. No, not Middle Tennessee. They did it against Louisiana Tech. Excuse me. They did lose the game before, but 3-1. But they finally ended up winning in straight sets against Louisiana Tech. It's kind of a momentum bringer as we move on into the next games, but right back to losing against Middle Tennessee in straight sets in both games. So, do you think this is another losing streak on the run here, or?
Sadly, I do feel like it is another losing streak. The volleyball team just has not looked good at all this season, and Louisiana Tech is right there at the bottom of Conference USA, right there with Sam Houston. They are also only have one win, so and that one win is also against Sam Houston, so they split that series, and both the teams' only wins are against each other. So I feel like
You feel like we get the win and it feels good, but looking forward, I mean, we can't really expect much else other than what we've seen in the last few weeks.
Maybe 1 or 2 more wins the rest of the season, but I don't see the volleyball team being too much more successful, at least on the team level.
Yeah, from what I've seen, these offenses just run faster than we do. They run different types of sets that we haven't seen, and they have a lot of height that we don't have. It seems like their middle blockers are faster, their right sides are faster, especially their outsides are faster. Their setters can run faster balls. It's hard to keep up with a team if you're not as fast as them and can't see what they're doing before they do it.
Yeah, and a lot of the time it's not even the team's fault necessarily. They're just undersized a little. A lot of our team is between the heights of probably around like 5'6" to 5'10", and a lot of these other teams, they have girls that are 6 foot plus.
Right.
So a lot of it they just can't really control. They can't really control how big they are on the block and stuff like that. So.
I mean, in good news, we can talk about Hannah Baker finally breaking the dig record, set in 1995 at 1,639 digs. Mm-hmm. And then in our first game against FIU, she crushed it with 18 digs. And in the last few games, I'm sure she's racked up even more. It's good to see that and celebrate at least something like that. Mm-hmm. I know after the game that she broke it, they had a whole ceremony and they gave her flowers and took pictures with the team, coaches, and her family.
Yeah, and she's only a junior also, so she could really put some distance between her and that record if she chooses to play next season with her last year of eligibility. On top of that, I feel like Hannah Baker might be one of the best liberos in the entire country. I mean, you look at all her stats, she's 5th in the country in digs right now. At one point, she was 1st in digs, and just a really great player that Sam Houston has had for the past few years.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have her. But I'd like to switch over to Sam Houston State's soccer team.
Probably the one team who has had success
very successful
on the field.
Sam Houston State team.
Which is very weird because historically it's the other way around. The football team and the volleyball teams are usually the one that does successful. I remember Sam Houston always been competing for Southland WAC titles in volleyball, and the football team has always been competitive on a national level, even winning a national championship a few years ago. And soccer really hasn't done much, so it's very weird to see this flip but head coach Sonia Carvello is doing a really good job with this team in her second year.
Yeah. I'll wrap it up with just saying again that the soccer team is finally having some success opposed to our volleyball and basketball team. But this has been Bearcat Power. We'll see you next time. Welcome back, Bearcats, to Bearcat Power Sports Edition. With me, Garrett Wiley. Always joining me is Nicholas Pola, where we talk about anything sports related in the world. For this, I'd like to switch over to professional sports and talk about the Cowboys and the 49ers. A really rough game for the 49ers Sunday night, where they lost. I don't remember the score. Do you remember the score off the top of your head?
51-7.
51-7 is our guessing score as of right now. But a really, really rough game for just Cowboys and Cowboys fans. I know all my friends who are Cowboys fans were not happy. They posted all over social media how disappointed they were and angry that they were. What are your thoughts on the game as this shows Cowboys expert?
How about them Cowboys, man? What is it? I heard from everyone that it was going to be their year. They had a great offseason, and then they go out and lose to the Cardinals. And then, literally 2 weeks later, get destroyed by a team they're supposed to beat to win the Super Bowl. What's up, Cowboys fans?
Seems that we have a Cowboys hater here. Personally, for me, I like to root for any Texas team. Not much of a football guy, but any Texas team that has success, I'll root for. The Cowboys, I don't know so much. We'll see. But I'd like to also talk about the Astros, where they are in a tied series right now with the Minnesota Twins. They won the first game. Minnesota took the second. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of bad blood. I don't know among the much between the teams, but more the fans, because before the series even started, the Twins fans yelled after their game, "We want Houston," like every other team before the playoffs have said against Houston in the past, and it didn't go their way.
Yeah, last year the Yankees did that before getting swept by the Astros.
I saw the Phillies did it as well.
Phillies did it too, and then they ended up losing the last 3 games of that series, including a no-hitter in game 5 of that series. So
I don't expect much different from this series. I think that they took the second game, and good for them. But I don't expect much. They play today in just a few minutes.
Houston has not done well at home this year. So I kind of expect them to take over in Minnesota, seeing as how the past 5 games they've played on the road, including the one where they clinched the AL West last game of the season. They've gone 5-0, have 52 runs scored in those 5 games, so over 10 runs a game. This team has done very well on the road, but not so great at home. They had a losing record at home during the regular season, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. So going 1-on-1 at home was actually very good for this team. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they can now take over in Minnesota. So you hate to say it, but the way they've been playing at home, don't really want to come back for a winner-take-all Game 5 where they have to win at home.
Let's not hope that we play in Houston if the stats are right, and I would hope that the Astros can clean this series up and kind of put those chants to rest. I want to switch back over to football, where C.J. Stroud just broke the rookie record with passes without interceptions. Not much of a football guy, but I know that one of my friends showed me that, and I was surprised because, every quarterback in the league or ever has been a rookie at one point, mm-hmm. and C.J. Stroud is performing the best out of any of those players.
Yeah, for sure. C.J. Stroud, been one of the better offensive players in the NFL out of all the rookies. Probably right now, we'll put him at either 1 or 2 for the Offensive Rookie of the Year award favorite. It's either him or Bijan Robinson probably right now. But he's just been incredible. Everything and more that Texas fans hoped he would be, getting him at the number 2 spot in the draft. And just hope it's not, he continues this throughout his entire career. Because, I mean, if he can do what he's done in his first 5 games in the NFL throughout his entire career, man, he could be one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah, I want to wrap up by asking you, do you think C.J. Stroud will win the Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Hot take, I think Texans will sweep Rookie of the Year awards. I think Will Anderson will win Defensive Rookie of the Year, and C.J. Stroud will win the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Well, that's all we got for Bearcat Power Sports Edition. We'll see you next time.